Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm gonna get everyone else to come and join us, but I have an itchy elbow. While we're waiting for the others to join, a couple of quick updates for me. So on Friday, I am going in for hair transplant surgery. So I'm a little bit scared, to be honest with you. Sorry, I just had some popcorn. Anyways, so my eyes are leaky. Okay, so I'm going in for hair transplant surgery on Friday, and I'm a little bit scared, to be totally honest with you. They're doing like a little bit of filling in the top, and they're cutting out a strip out of the back of my head. Recovery is not the greatest. It takes a long time, but it's something that's gonna probably help me with my confidence and whatnot. So anyways, I have surgery on Friday. Looking forward to it, but I'm more looking forward to the being over the recovery than anything else. Let me add in all these other people while we're talking. Oops. Dun, dun, dun. Wait a sec. Okay, we got one.
Hello.
Hi, Maya. Let's see if we can get Hannah. We got Hannah. Now let's see if we can get Alexandra. Oh, where? She disappeared. Shit, I had her and then she's gone. Oh, Instagram is so fucking irritating.
I love it.
I used to never swear until I started hanging out with Vicky.
I shut the fuck up. I can't stop. I can't help it. I learned. I swear it's part of the vernacular. You know, like literally, it's like adding spices to your food.
Netflix. I have to swear. Alex, you look frozen.
Swearing is part of it.
Yeah.
It's so hard to switch it off with the kids. Swearing when the kids are around. When I was a teacher, I had to bite my lips so hard.
Can I ask you guys a question as far as when you started transitioning? How did your jobs accept you, and did you have any trouble fighting, trying to get that respect? Did you lose respect, all that? Me?
Hannah, maybe you should answer that question first.
Okay.
I think yours is the most interesting.
Well, for me, working in government where I'm at, before I was like the guy that if you wanted to go have a good time and rough and tumble and all that kind of craziness, I was the person to go to, and I never had any problem finding someone to go out in the field with me. But I could say when I came out and I started, when I came out at home first and told the close people first, and then I didn't start changing the way I dressed or any of that until a while. It took me I don't know, 6 months before I started wearing gender neutral clothes, where it was kind of it's baggy, it's not really super tight feminine like what we all wear now, but yeah, I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes.
It's always funny, I'm trying to find out what's in my closet. Everything
is low cut all the way down to the abs.
It's not scandalous.
But
Yeah, I have like 200 crop tops, and that's it. That's all I own. I literally just, whenever I look for clothes, I'm like,
with
oh,
good
it's a crop
reason
top.
though.
I
Yeah.
grab that shirt.
you make the
Good
look
So I'm
good,
always
though.
cold.
So there's
Thanks,
that.
guys.
I went to Lululemon and I have this one shirt. I got the exact same shirt
Different
in
colors,
four
yeah.
different. I got 4 of the exact same shirt, just in different colors.
And it's
I do that
Lululemon.
with all my
I
dresses.
love the way it looks, so I bought 4 of them. We should not talk about this because I'm
like
gonna
I
get in
was
trouble.
saying, for me, it was when I started like changing the clothes. That's when people would start to notice, and they would make a comment or something, and it was like you would I would just pull them aside, and I would say, "Look, I'm trans. I'm still learning everything about it. I don't know a whole lot. Like, this is all new to me. I don't know what's up and what's down anymore." But I basically just pulled every single person I work with aside, and I explained to them, you're going to see some changes. I'm going to start hormones. I'm going to get surgeries. So I even took it to where, with some of the female coworkers, I would let them know, like, I'm going to be using the same bathroom as you now. Are you okay with that? If you want, just so I can keep the respect thing mutual and everybody on, good terms. If you want, if I were to walk in and see you walking in at the same time or whatever, I'll wait. I'll just stand off to the side. I'll find a different bathroom. But luckily with the people I work with, they were, oh no, it's no big deal. We don't care. We're happy for you. So for me, I was very, very fortunate where in the beginning, everybody was confused and shocked, but they're like, hey, as long as you're happy, you're healthy, and it's good for you, then great. What do I care? But I can tell you, like, over that time now, yeah, they're nice on a certain level, but when it's like, hey, I need somebody to go out in the field with me to do something, it's crickets. So I typically now have to go in the field alone, and I make do with it because I can now. I've been there long enough to know, like, okay, this is too dangerous of a situation. I'm just not going to get involved, and then I just keep driving. So there's times where I'm able to do that, but if I do need somebody with me, then I'll just radio in for somebody to come with me, and I'll just sit and wait. So those are the types of things where it was like, in the beginning, it was tough. It was, I would end up sitting in the car and crying because you just feel so alone. And it's like, what did I do? I destroyed my career and all that. But like you said before in our other video, you just get to the point to where it's like, oh, that's your loss, not mine. I'm fine. I can make do with my day. So, but that's pretty much where mine was. I don't know about you guys.
Mine was pretty straightforward.
Alexandra, how was it for you?
I mean, so like I told my program directors, and they're like, whenever you're ready, we're ready. Which was not the kind of support I was expecting. I decided to tell my program directors because, enough of like my friends who were like, at the residency program. So it was like, well, I mean, I might as well tell them so that, rumors don't start spreading. And they were like, no, like if you want to present to work as like your true self, I think you should. So I was like, okay, I got to make a plan about that. So like, basically as I came out to all the staff, like it was just support everywhere. So then one day I just showed up as me, And that was it. There was no like, oh, you know, I'm going to do gender neutral shit. It's like, no, this person is dead now. And this is who I'm going to be from like here, like for the rest of my life. And that's just kind of how it went. It was really fast. I had the support of literally everybody. No,
like real support, or was it like
yeah,
superficial support?
Absolutely real support. Everyone
real support.
Like used my pronouns well. Everyone made sure that the patients were like totally fine. Like everyone had my back for everything. My patients liked me more after I transitioned. It was like, I think I have a really rare story in that, you know, like there were no real bumps at all. Like it was really straightforward. And I think part of it is unique just being in medicine, that everyone understands, you know, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're also all educated. It's a different experience,
and
probably.
The only thing is, you know, I couldn't change my name because, I mean, everyone referred to me as Alexandra, but I couldn't change my name on anything because I legally can't, because that's not, you know, it's until like it's my legal name, it has to be the same on all the documentation.
That was the same for me.
But yeah. So ultimately, I mean, it was like, I just totally didn't expect that level of support. I mean, who really would? I mean, it's kind of unheard of in a lot of ways, especially in Texas. But it was like I had like everyone around me was like, this is who you are. So like, this is like the way that if you want to be, like, this is just how we'll accept you. So, I mean, I think I started coming out to people like end of September, beginning of October, and by end of November, I had fully transitioned, like fully socially transitioned. That was it. Done. Did job interviews as Alexandra, did everything as Alexandra. That was it.
Question for you, both of Maya and Alexandra, before we get to Hannah. What year and how long? Like, what year
So
did you do
I came
this, Maya,
out
and what year
to
did
my
you do
wife,
this, Alexandra?
October. God, it was like mid-October 2020 during COVID. So came out at home.
That's why I
Mm-hmm.
know about COVID, whether it was COVID or not. So it was in the midst of COVID.
Came out then, and then at work. So I started hormones December of 2020, and I kind of was forced by myself and the medication to come out to certain people at work because I was starting to develop and change, and hair was growing, and you could at that point a few months, you know, on medication, and I was on like the max of everything. So the changes were happening very rapidly. So I came out to my bosses and upper management in January, and then I'd say around April is when I started to like start wearing makeup, started wearing dresses. Yeah, I'm sorry. 21. Yeah.
April of 2021
so,
or 2020?
That's when I started to really start like changing the way I dressed and, you know, came to work and everything. And that's when I started pulling everybody aside. And that same month is when I had my rhinoplasty, tracheal shave, and voice feminization. And then let's see, that's 21. So February of 22, I did facial femme, and then July I did breast augmentation. November I did bottom, and yeah, that's where I'm at today. Yeah.
What about you, Alexandra? Where, before we get to Hannah's story,
Yeah.
when was, like,
So,
was this in the middle of COVID? Because
the
you're a
first
doctor,
person I
and you
came
have a
out to was
hospital,
my
right?
brother. That was like April of 2020. And it slowed down a little bit. I came out to like one or two more people, and then things picked back up in like June. And then like I came out to my wife in like July, and we separated like immediately. Um, and then like it was like my whole attitude was like, there's nothing that's gonna stop this from happening. The chips are gonna fall where they do. So I just started coming out to everybody. The moment July and August, it was like bam, 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 until I realized I couldn't like live as two people anymore. Because on my, like, whenever I was outside of work, I was Alexandra, and then whenever I was at work, I was my male self. I was like, fuck this, like this is not tenable anymore. So September, the end of September, I came out to like my job, and then I think everybody knew by like early November, and the only thing that was left at that point in time was getting my ID and a bunch of other things fixed. So there was a couple of days of logistics that had to get worked out, and then like that was it. There was I hadn't even started hormones. It was just like you know, I just didn't want to live like that anymore. Like I wore scrubs every day as a guy, and I think I may have worn scrubs a couple of times, like as Alexandra, and it's just like I just didn't feel like wearing scrubs anymore. There's a few times I had to do it, and that was it. No, I don't wear scrubs anymore. Like I always go to work in a dress and heels, and that's me.
Yeah.
So you're a COVID. You're both COVID babies.
So April
What about you,
2021, I
Hannah?
came
You a
out
COVID
just a few
baby?
days before my birthday to my wife, and this was already 3-4 months after I had a really big mental breakdown at work. So I was actually at home working from home, and so the work, the stress, the anxiety, everything just built up and broke me. And so I was on a disability by the time I came out. I was doing intensive therapy. I was doing everything I could to figure out what was wrong with me, knowing the whole time that I have this one secret that I've told really nobody for as long as, and I've known since I was a young child. So when I came out, yeah, kind of accelerated story by, I was on hormones, and I think similar to what Alexandra said, like I couldn't do the old me like that. When I came out in April, Joel, the person I had been before, was done, gone. There was no remnants for me to pick up, and if there were remnants, they would have been way too painful for me to see. It was intense. Like, so like when Hannah broke free, she was like,
like the full
fuck you, Joel, it was so painful to even
you pushed out
and worse, there was nothing when that body hit. It was just like disintegrated.
You're like,
so I figured though, like this was such an impossibility for me to pass, for me to be anything remotely feminine. So I was thinking like maybe 2 years down the road, I'll tell my work that, hey, I'm trans. You know, when I have this possibility. By September, I was fully out to work. I wrote about a 5-6 page letter. I had come out, so we have a mentor who helps a lot of our leadership team with development and stuff. So he was the first person in the organization I told around August. And he really encouraged me to share my story with the rest of the organization. So it's a national union, and we have about 400 staff, you know, from various benefits, pension to frontline representatives, which I was. And so I had this letter ready, sort of made as I came out to family. It was very heartfelt. It explained who I was. And from what others had said, it was a letter that you just couldn't contest because it was just the rawness of self. So I'd edited that and sent it to our executive director, who then sent it to our staff council executive, which is an elected body. And I think a number of weeks after that, it went out to the whole organization. The response was amazing, honestly. Like it is a union which typically sits left of center in many social issues, but in many social issues like homosexuality, the LGBT community, etc., it is still a very conservative mindset, right? I was dealing with construction workers, cement workers, healthcare, hospitals and frontline long-term care. And so the staff that I'd worked with across Canada, a very well-known entity, and it was amazing. From the women particularly, and it has been to that day. So I'm back at work. I've been back to work since last September. So about a year went by before I went back to work. And I would say, as far as the female staff, exceptional. No misgendering. It was glorious. It's just so unexpected. The men, especially the male colleagues of mine, I'm sure they may support. I have no idea. I hear neither hair nor hair. What the frick is that term? Hide no hair of them. And which is fine. I don't need that male energy right now. And the male colleagues in my office are great because we have to talk. I support them as best I can. But there is always that awkwardness, right? When you are a perceived male. I was a union goon. I was still a very kind person, but I could get downright, nasty when I needed to. And now all of a sudden this bubbly, goofy girl that's dancing through the hallway. So it's quite an opposite. And I think the males see, right, there's something that just hits their insecurities about that. And I think they accept, but for them, it's just an understanding that is beyond, whereas women just don't seem to have that mental state of discomfort like the same. So it's been good. I had actually a meeting today, because I'm surgery. So we were just talking about my return to work and, kind of putting that on a bit of a freeze right now as far as the work that I'm doing, and just maintaining sort of the status quo. I just don't know my future with the role that I do. It's heavy conflict. It's aggressive. It's, even if I move into our...
You can do it in a different way.
Oh yeah, I think it's
with the female energy.
Yeah,
mean
but
you have to
the
do it the
nature
same way that Joel did it. You can do it in the Hannah way.
Conflict resolution, negotiation. Especially if we're dealing, I would be in the healthcare sector. I wouldn't touch the construction anymore. And even in the healthcare sector, which is so much more accommodating, accepting, it's just not it's not a joy-filled world. To get a thanks for doing something as a union rep is, this isn't like a frontline steward or anything like I would hold carriage to collective agreements, with hundreds of employees or thousands, or, some being tiny, some being massive, and the responsibility of that, and then to maintain control of those workplaces and fighting with management, fighting with government ministers, and it's a lot. And I want to be a giver of joy. I want to be in a paradigm of joy. And while I think that is such good work, and the organization we do is such good work, we do it in very different ways than others. I would come back to work, and I think 3 days later I would be back on mental disability. It would break me again. I need to give joy, I need to give life, and I just can't. I can't do that. But we'll see. We'll see. Still, I'm not closing the door yet on anything. And I told that to my organization today. If I can move into this in the future, especially after I blossom post surgery, we'll see. But I don't want to leave the organization anyways.
Well, but people were relatively, but people have been reasonably accepting. I mean, you've had like
Yeah,
a pretty good
totally.
overall, but you're still a COVID baby. I'm a COVID baby in its own weird way, but because we've all transitioned within the last couple
It was
of
that
years.
damn
I'm just 3
vaccine,
years
you know?
change now. um, yeah, but so I'll tell you mine. I had a pretty good, easy transition because I transitioned pretty much at home. Um, I didn't have like I just called my employer, like the guy that I work with, and I was like, okay, so I'm trans, and he's like, cool, as long as you can do your work, I don't care. And he was like, I'll support you in any way I can. I'll go to bat for you if there's a problem, but
Wow.
you do such great work. I'm not too worried about it. So that was my kind of story. They were very supportive. I ended up going to see one of my bosses at Starbucks, and it was the first time he had physically seen me. And this was only like maybe like 2 months ago. And you could see his eyes were like buggy. They were like, he was like, I don't know what even to say about this. He knew the old me, like the 6-pack dude guy. And in here, I'm walking in like, I was trying to be like pretty calm. I wore jeans and like a crop top, of course. And, but his expression was like, this is like a very like stable, like he never shows his emotions. And he
went from a
looked
hot
at me
dude
like,
to a really fucking hot
what the
chick, and now I
fuck?
don't know how I feel.
It was, you know what, that one of the things I know this is like a total like segue into something else, but like male friendships and that kind of change. I mean, I kept a lot of my guy friends. I like I actually was talking to one of my best friends yesterday. We talked for like over an hour last night, and it was so funny, like the conversation, because it's still very like jovial. It's still very like bro, like bro energy, and I still have lots of bro energy, and like it was a great conversation. But it was funny because I felt like the way he was talking to me was like he's like taking care of me. And it was like really, actually, it felt really nice, actually, like the way he was like really taking care of my emotions. And like before, I would have like said something like emotional, and he would have been like, stop being such a girl. Like now he would never say that. Like now he's like so much more careful, and he's like really, saying all this stuff. And it was just a really like a great conversation, and I felt so fulfilled after. And it was very, very different than the pre-transition conversation, even though we were very like good friends and like totally took care of each other like in that way. But like the way guys take care of each other is they make fun of each other, right? Like you say something stupid, your buddies are going to call you on it. And now he's like so much more like gentle and so like more like soft and stuff. It's really nice, I gotta tell you. What have your experiences been with the guy friends, and has the relationship that you have with them shifted?
So for
or do you have
me,
any relationships with guy
I
friends?
lost all of them. And like what Hannah said before, I don't need that energy anyway, so I welcome it. I would say the handful of women that stuck by my side during my transition at work, that only like concreted our friendship even more, because they've been there for me, they've helped me, they've, in the very beginning, I was terrified to go to the bathroom and all of that, and they would like go in with me and stand guard. So like the few that stuck with me, they're like my sister's ride or die till the day I die, So and then just building this new friendship within our community with you guys, all the others on Instagram and all of that. So I welcome it. I'm happy. I'm whoever I lost it. I don't think about them anymore. So yeah, if they can't accept me as a better version of myself, then they don't get to enjoy and embrace the good times that are ahead. So yeah.
I would.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nice to be
And the people that
it's nice to
stick by
be
your
loved for your
side,
authentic self.
you know, again, that just
Yeah.
shows like they're really there for you. You know, they are your true friend. All the others were just like, I don't know. I don't want to say parasites because I did have some good friends, but now that they're exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you don't get to pick and
friends
choose
in
when it's
only good
convenient
times are
for
not
you.
friends at all.
So
No, exactly.
I think.
What about you, Anna? What about
Like,
you, Alexandra?
I wouldn't say I have the friend community that I have now. It's amazing, right? Because it's also so much more natural and real. And some of them are a little, and I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
right.
I love you. And I mourn one of my friends now. I know he's going through some of his own struggles, so I think a lot of the distance is more applied to that. He just doesn't have the capacity to, I think, to invite this in. So it's not necessary. It's not a negative. It's a mental health journey of that person's own, and the friendship that we had was so. Yeah, he was my brother in that regard, and I I think the pain of that loss, the grief, is sort of another hit to his mental health, and so I think that one is sort of in a room of grace. You know, when that person is ready to come back, because I have no doubt when that person is healthy, the support and love will be there. But I think for any other male friend or contact, it has been, yeah, for the most part, I would say non-existent. And that's not to, I think it's a more exaggerated version of when a good friend of yours gets married and has kids and you continue living, you know, sort of that more single life, or the childless life, the, you know, the dink life, the dual single income, dual income, no kids. You know, it just sort of diverges, and I think that's more just what happened. Is I don't want to put the energy into it. I don't want to explain this. I think some of my friends had said, well, I don't know what to tell my kids. I don't think they won't understand. And I'm like, well, your kids will understand just fine. You don't. And right at that point, I'm like, I don't have the energy to fight this. You either accept this as real, because you should know me. So it hurts, but at the end of the day, I love this community. I love the feminine energy. I love the workplace now, where my female colleagues and staff are just amazing people. And that's all I need right now is people that just can see me for who I am. And I have a lot of those right now. And, you know, you all are a big part of that. So I like you girls. Yeah.
I can't wait for Palm Springs again.
Oh yeah, all of them stuck around. Kidding me?
Okay, Alexandra,
Like,
male friends.
So not surprised.
With your energy, you have
in the best way though, Alexandra.
It's
yes, totally. I love it.
so like,
in the best way,
like
totally.
my best friends are still my best friends. We all hang out. It's literally like nothing changed at all. The only funny thing is like I'll be hanging out with like my guy friends, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go hang out with their wives now. So then I go slink over there, go hang out and talk with the wives for a bit, and it's just like that duality. Yeah, it's
I do.
like
I have that same duality.
None of my friends left me. Period. Like none. They were just like, oh yeah. Like at first they're like, oh wow, and then they're like, you know, they're like looking back, yeah, like it's all there. Like everyone could tell there was something different. Didn't quite know what it was. Like everyone's like, well, we just kind of assumed gay, even though you weren't gay. And it's like, well, you know, trans fits too. We would still love you. You know? I think a lot of them were like, this is gonna be different, and then they like meet me and they're like, oh no, it's not different at all. Like, not at all. Like,
So funny because
Right?
you're the straight girl and you have the most bro energy.
so like right right
don't know
before
how
I
that
hopped
worked out
on, I was
exactly.
playing Pokemon with like some of my high school friends. And dudes, right? And one of them was like, "Oh, the three of us ride again." And I was like, "Lol, yeah." Like a couple days. Like what? Like my best friend since like I was like 6 years old. He was like, you know, I was kind of worried this would be different, but no, like you're the exact same fucking person. Like you just look different. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point. I didn't really change that much. Um,
Isn't that the way for all of us though? Like, I mean, we might have like changed in some ways, but like intrinsically, I feel like I'm the same person. Right? Like I don't feel like I've changed all that much. I'm like, I'm still the same
I
crazy
think the
person that
differences
I
are
was
very
before.
subtle. I think the core is very much the same. Um, I think some people I think would say I'm nicer
Yeah,
generally.
exactly.
I think I'm meaner. Um,
I want to see mean Alexandra.
No.
you haven't seen me. Yeah, like
Yeah, you're not mean at all.
Yeah, maybe that might be a good
You
way
have
of
an
saying
edge,
it.
but you're not mean.
There
I
was
could see you just not taking any shit. That's what I could see. Like I could just see you just.
Anna is a
yeah.
Just.
No.
I would love to see that.
Hannah is a
I'm all
circle.
soft.
He has no edge.
Oh my gosh.
But so are you.
Soft, squishy,
You just are
velvety
better at
ball.
pretending.
I'm a spiked ball made out of iron. You're
I feel
soft,
like
squishy,
Victoria,
velvety ball.
if you're a ball made of iron, like we touch you and then we find out like it's
styrofoam.
like a little balloon ball. It's like, oh my god, it hurts. It's actually fun.
Shut up! Shut up! I'll beat you. I'll beat you.
Oh, I think
Alexander, this is
go to the
you.
bathroom now.
This is me.
I think you're killing my straight streak, Victoria.
Okay, enough about that. Okay, so that's that. I think I'm way tougher than Hannah for sure.
I think you are.
I'm not sure if I'm tougher than Maya. I think Maya.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure. You did MMA. I've never been punched.
that's all
Thrown a
long
punch in
gone
my
for me.
entire life.
I'll
I have no idea
never
how to throw a punch.
pick up another glove or do any of that ever again. So yeah.
Well, then we have like the martial arts
It's
expert over here.
fun. Like,
Don't forget my black
I
belt.
always love.
In what?
How many of us have?
Oh, Hannah has a
belts
black
here.
belt. Did
I
you know
think
this?
so,
Oh, okay.
but they're. I call it a foreigner's black belt.
So I don't
What do you have a
have
black belt
like
in? You have
where I've
Taekwondo. What
gotten
do
the
you have, Maya?
belts. When you do MMA,
You didn't
it's
have
like
it.
one day you're gonna do jiu-jitsu, the next day you're gonna do Muay Thai, the next day you're gonna do just like Greco wrestling.
Okay, so you're an
black belt in
MMA.
Taekwondo,
Hannah's a
and I've done some
Taekwondo.
Muay Thai, and I'm
Alexander,
gonna
what are
pick
you?
up BJJ.
I found out that I got
have a
that
black
too.
belt
want
in
that
shopping, like for sure.
You know,
For sure, I got my black belt in shopping.
black belt.
Those
I
are
have
the
my
only
black
ones
belt
that
in
matter
shopping
now.
and shit talking. I am the best. I I have the best
Yeah,
shit talk. I'm gonna talk shit talk to anybody. I'm like Gretchen over here. I'm like on Wednesdays we wear pink. So
We're-
you know, it's just the
we're
rules.
like your little minions. You start the shit, and then like
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I do. I actually like will walk into a situation, I'll raise
You're-
a whole bunch of
you're our
shit,
boss
and then I'll run away.
Angels.
And then I'll take care of it.
Vicky's
Totally. I'd be like, you're
Well,
a
you know
jerk.
what's funny
You're
is
ugly.
when we were in
Bye.
Palm Springs and we had that little incident at the restaurant, Hannah, I thought you were gonna get up and like,
Oh, I was fucking furious.
yeah,
Like those sort of situations, that's when I would say that's when I can get really ignited. And I have yet in this true state to do that. I think in my old state, I probably would have actually just done something, especially to some old white couple. Like to me, that is just, I am not scared of that. Like
welcome to America.
right?
Can you tell the situation? Because whoever's listening doesn't know what we're talking about. Well, so
Yeah.
someone
we
tell
were
the
to
story.
Palm Springs.
Hannah, go.
Maya had come to visit. It was amazing. We had so much good time. I think we had chosen a Peruvian restaurant somewhere along the strip. Amazing food. It's so good. But it was kind of this weird dive sports bar. It just didn't have a good restaurant vibe, but it had amazing food. And so as we walked in, there was this older, clearly conservative, right? You have kind of that golfer rich crowd that's there in, fairly, well, not fairly, is under exaggeration. It is a very gay town. And so it just sort of surprised me in some ways that intolerance is just so open there when you're in a community where you're going to see this stuff. Anyway, so they had just started making some comments. I think unfortunately was directed strangely more at you, Maya. Like I don't understand why. We all stood out except for Soli, who was the only cisgendered woman there. Right?
Yeah.
Soli
tiny
stood
girl.
up.
But they just kept on, so for those listening, they just kept on. It was just, that sort of background chatter that, this husband and wife were having across the table behind us. But they were talking just loud enough because they want you to hear. And yeah, I think we were all getting pretty frustrated. And for me too, like that's when my justice warrior comes out. That's my union rep coming out. For me, when I see that stuff, it's a type of conflict that I feel more comfortable in because it's going to be more verbal, at least in Canada.
Here you'll
not
get shot.
used to the possibility of a gun coming out, and even your most conservative Canadian is not going to be carrying a sidearm. So yeah, I'm kind of glad nothing happened. I'm sure nothing would have anyways, but I know for me personally, that was just something I don't know how to deal with. And I saw for me, I saw something that I could handle, and I'm really glad.
It didn't escalate.
Yeah, because I don't know how to fight.
I kind of wish I had. I wish in some ways I wish I had sat, because at that time I was definitely the most. I've been on hormones longer than all three of you, so I really wish he had said something to me where I could have heard it, because I would have turned around and like laid it on him, like for sure. I wish he had said something. Because I would have. Not that I look for the opportunity to be confrontational, because I'm the absolutely least confrontational person, but at that state, the four of us were together. I mean, I would have loved for him to say something to me. I would have eaten
It would have been four very bitchy queer
yeah.
women
Then
just
would've,
laying
yeah.
into this couple. It would have been
And
it would
we're
have been
all
wonderful to watch in some ways, as long as nothing dangerous happened.
I would have raised up all the shit, and then I would have let you two.
But no, that was like the first time where I
The
saw
way it works.
the anger in Hannah, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, we got to get out of here. But luckily, you know, I think it was mostly directed at me because I was in direct view of him.
Yeah.
You know, so
And you were more dressed to party, right? Because we're going to go out that night. I
yeah,
think Vicky and I and Sully, we hadn't dressed up yet, so you were quite a bit more beautiful and noticeable because you wore that beautiful pink or peach kind of salmon dress, and it was just gorgeous. And I think for the setting as well, it just contrasted, I think, the rest of the people that were in there, and I think that also just unfortunately made a target for this goofy couple. So.
yeah.
I don't like it when people do that to my friends. So for me, I
It's so sad.
didn't like that at all. And then because I also feel at risk as myself too.
Sure, yeah. No, that sucks, but
Yeah, I gotta walk my house.
I think we're done.
Very
it's only
much.
8:24 for me.
We've talked for almost 3 hours. I really